Hey folks, we're back at 9:49 just about. The LIVIN Foundation is a mission to change the conversation about mental health. And every September, the LIVIN Foundation hosts its annual music festival that supports the foundation.
Co-founder PT from 102.9 The Wolf. How'd I do? Was that okay?
That's great. That's good. Yeah.
He's here to tell us about the foundation and retreats for adults impacted by the loss of a loved one due to suicide. Thanks for joining us. You know, we always talk about how the Music Fest has happened, and that's usually in the fall, but these retreats, a lot of people may not know about that side of the LIVIN Foundation.
Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of times, Hutch, you know, LIVIN and LIVIN Music Festival, it's fun, it's hopeful, it's bringing people together. I think the retreats and some other things we do programmatically is a way for really people to connect, especially those that have suffered a loss, you know, loss survivors. It's a unique club that no one wants to be a part of. So I think these retreats have allowed really deep, like peer-to-peer opportunities for people to, you know, find some healing.
How long has the foundation been around now?
So the foundation was started in 2015. We started our first retreat in, I think, 2018 or 19. So we've been doing them now for about 6 years. We took a year or two off during COVID, obviously. And what we've kind of found now is we did some family retreats, more of like a full family thing. And what we're really realizing now is kind of dialing into the relationship to the person that they lost. So like putting the dads together that have all, you know, that similar loss of a child, right? Or putting moms together, or adults that maybe have spouses or what have you, because that deeper level of empathy really helps to build that connection.
Do you really find that there is a big difference with dads connecting with other dads and then moms connecting with other moms?
Yeah, we do. I mean, even with me, like I lost my dad, but if someone else lost their son, like for me to connect with them, it's both a loss by suicide, but it's just a different relationship. So I think the pain and the grief journey that I'm on is just a little bit different than that other dad. So when you can put those dads together that all know what it's like to, you know, unfortunately to feel that pain that I can't even imagine, to be honest, you know, like I think that really helps with that, like I said, that empathy and the ability to make that connection with somebody.
What are the retreats like? You have one coming up like in April, right? The Moms Retreat?
Yeah, so, well, actually the Moms Retreat, we have a venue, Charleston Meadows in Victoria, that is so highly sought after, we have to book it for next year. So that's already April of 2027 that we're booking for, believe it or not. The Dad's Retreat that's coming up in June is at Sturgeon Lake. It's actually a partnership with the Face It Foundation. You're seeing some pictures there. Dads basically just, to be honest, dads being dads. I mean, they sit by the campfire. They built a really cool structure there where they all wrote letters and like talked about what their living was, like what they're living for. They write letters to, you know, themselves, their future self, that we mail to them in a year so they can kind of see their growth and development, which is neat. But yeah, and just dads sitting around even having breakfast and making breakfast together and just kind of sharing life's ups and downs, and maybe even just having that permission to talk openly about the person that they lost, because that's even a hard conversation, you know what I mean, to do in regular walks of life with you and I, you know.
What do you find different about the retreats versus a typical grief counseling?
Yeah, I think, Hutch, you know, like a lot of people that are on a grief journey might be doing individual counseling. They might be doing like a 1-hour group session, you know, on a weekly basis, which is all great. I mean, the grief journey is different for everybody, but I think the weekend-long retreats is really an opportunity to unplug from like our daily lives for a very deliberately longer period, right? The whole weekend, and really have like, again, more of that deeper connection, and maybe hopefully go to some places from a healing standpoint that are beyond what they might do in an hour-long session or during the week or something like that.
And around other people.
Yeah, and around other people. Like these are people that it's amongst the safest space that you can find, right?
Like, think about that too. Like if you're a family, a husband and a wife who have lost a child, we all grieve so differently.
Yeah.
My grief and my experience would be vastly different than my husband's experience would be, right? And to have the opportunity to have a retreat where it's just men who get it, or just moms who are there who may grieve similarly, I just feel like is So brilliant.
We appreciate that. You're right on. I mean, we've had dads that have been to the dad's retreat, then recommend their wives to go to the mom's retreat, and then go as a couple to the adults retreat, which is coming up in August. So it's like, you're right, like to have that grief journey individually and together is a really cool opportunity. And these retreats are all they're all free. There's like a $50 application fee, but even that is because could be covered. So we never want a financial burden to be in the way of somebody's healing, if that makes sense.
We're just about out of time, but quickly, let's talk about the upcoming music festival.
Well, if you like 90s country, Blackhawk is going to be there. We're super excited about that. Our friend Kat Perkins is back. I think there's going to be 9 bands. It's a 2-night camping event, ERX Motor Park. If you like camping, if you like barbecue, if you like music, be there. Maybe we'll get, Hutch from KS95 to get there.
There you go.
We'd love it.
That's big time.
Yeah, that would be. We're not quite there yet. Well, hopefully. Thank you guys so much.
Maybe a few years
Thank
out.
you.
Good to see you. As always, you can learn more about the LIVIN Foundation on our website at minnesotalive.com.